How's it going, Ram fans? Welcome back to CTV Sports. I'm Mike Walsh, and we've got a jam-packed show for you tonight.
That's right, Mike. I'm Leah Cackowski. Here's what we got on tap for you tonight.
Homecoming weekend was a sold-out success here at Canvas Stadium after the giant Ram community came out and showed their support.
The busy schedules did not take a break as soccer, volleyball, golf, and many others continued to compete.
Ella Frederickson gives us a summary of the first 3 games of the World Series, while Leah continues to fight back her tears.
And whether I like it or not, all of that and more right here on CTV Sports, which starts right now. Well, Mike, our last homecoming we'll ever have as students was this past weekend. How are you feeling?
No, it was a great weekend. Parents came in. Rams pretty much won everything except for that soccer game, which it hurts, but they won a lot of stuff. A really fun weekend, ton of events. I had a great time. How about
agree.
You? Just
being at the football game, the atmosphere, another sold-out crowd that we get to experience being students here. It was
that's
awesome.
3 this year that I've never seen ever at Canvas Stadium.
Ever.
So,
our 4 years here, so it was very special.
It's awesome.
But you know what? Let's get down to the details of that main event. Colorado State football welcomed the New Mexico Lobos into town and in front of the 4th largest crowd ever at Canvas Stadium. The Rams took their 13th consecutive win over the Lobos.
Yeah, this was the first time since 2019 that the program has had 3 consecutive conference wins. And it was all thanks to that second quarter where the Rams scored all 17 of their points.
Yeah, that's right, Mike. You know, it really just started off strong with this defense's forced tackle made by Jack Howell. Just really set the tone for the game and the fumble recovery for the Rams, because if you look here, the fake handoff to Justin Marshall, they couldn't even find where the ball was because Caleb Goody was wide open in the end zone to finally get on the board for the Rams with his first touchdown scored of the game. And then if we look here, this insane sack by Kennedy McDowell. This is the first time Dampier has been physically sacked all year, which says quite a bit. And honestly, this moment, I mean, come on, 82-yard punt return by
Sums
Kobe
up
Johnson.
the game right there.
Right here. Like, look at it. He's just walking free. And, you know, it's a great homecoming ease, walking basically right into the end zone here to get another touchdown.
And
it was awesome.
That was easily the loudest time in Canvas Stadium before these defensive plays. I mean, the second half, the Rams defense came out to play. This is a New Mexico team that was scoring 40 points a game. Boom Jock, Chase Wilson with these awesome interceptions to seal the game. New Mexico just simply had no chance on offense in the second half. Rams just ran away with it, scoring 17 in the second quarter. They didn't have to do anything.
Literally, and you know, while the offense was awesome, the win was mostly due to the dominating defense CSU produced.
The Rams forced 4 turnovers with 2 fumbles as well as a pair of fourth quarter interceptions by those linebackers Boom Jock and Chase Wilson. The Fort Air Raid offense has completely taken advantage of the ground game, and they don't seem to be looking back. But the Lobos did the opposite and basically doubled the green and gold in passing yards with a total of 319 compared to CSU's 142. And even with more first down opportunities, the Lobos just couldn't lock it down.
And when looking at the standings, there's a lot to talk about with the recent shifts. What are you seeing here right now,
Mike? Just seeing CSU at the top of this list is awesome.
I agree.
For all Ram fans. I know Boise's up there. They're kind of dominating right now. Had that big win over UNLV, but they're right below them, tied for first.
And it's interesting, you know, seeing San Diego State and Fresno State kind of right behind them with not the greatest of records. UNLV is right down there
the sleeper,
as well.
The UNLV is moving down a little bit just because of their conference loss, but they are 6-2 overall, probably the second best team in the conference.
It's just exciting to see Colorado State continuously these last few weeks be at the top. It's really great to see.
And honestly, with the games they have left, they'll probably stay there. And hopefully get another conference, or maybe try to get to the conference championship.
Yes, I agree.
But we could go on about football forever. There are so many more programs to talk about who also had success against the Lobos.
Yeah, that's right, Mike. Both women's volleyball and soccer took care of business to kick off homecoming weekend, winning both of their matchups this past Thursday.
First, looking to the fresh grass of the CSU soccer field in their annual Pink-Out game, the women had no issue taking down the Lobos with a final score of 3-1. And for the second straight week, Olivia Fout and Mia Casey were able to put the ball in the back of the net. But they weren't the only ones putting points on the board, as sophomore Tate Delane put in her second score of the season.
And just like the soccer team, the women's volleyball team also took the dub 3-1 over the Lobos. Looking at the numbers, it was Karina Lieber and Naima Weathers who crushed it down in Albuquerque for the Rams. Lieber put up an impressive 15 kills, but Weathers slightly outdid her with 16. And it was a block party as 3 different Rams grabbed 4 or more blocks. Just a weekend of domination for the Rams when it comes to matching up with the Lobos. But as we all know, the weekend doesn't end on Thursday. So keeping it up with volleyball, we now look to Saturday.
Yep, where the Falcons of Air Force took the short trip up to Fort Collins for an early morning start time. And it was a trip that the Falcons maybe wished they hadn't made, as this one was more or less out of hand. While this Air Force team isn't having the best season, I think most Ram fans that came out still expected a little more. But they didn't get more, as the Rams simply bested the Falcons in every aspect of the game. With a difference in kills of 26, it was never really going to be close. And with so many points scored by the Rams, it meant big leads. And big leads always mean one thing. Of course, that is the fact that more of the bench can get into the game. And that is exactly what happened as Coach Cohan knew her squad had this one set in stone. She threw out quite a few faces. Maria Bruin came off the bench and led the team in kills with 11, but the player who got the most love from the Ram fans had to be redshirt freshman Kakua Richards. At 6'7", Richards is no stranger to the spotlight, and she proved herself majorly in this game, making huge plays at the net and recording a career high of 6 kills. But in all reality, this game was about celebrating some legendary Ram volleyball players, as 3 different Rams accomplished some pretty amazing milestones. First was Neliah Jones, who was celebrated for hitting 1,000 kills before the game, cementing herself as one of the best players in CSU history. And that was just the beginning of the game. Once things got going, the girl right next to Jones also hit her 1,000 career kill mark, as Karina Lieber was just a few behind. And last but certainly not least, one of the most productive liberos in conference history, and Kate Yoshimoto, hit her 1,000 mark in career digs, a number and a name that will sit in the CSU record books forever. So the Rams are winning games, breaking records, and according to Coach Cohan, having a ton of fun. The team now looks to Halloween night, where they would face off with the Rebels of UNLV.
San Diego State University snapped Colorado State soccer's 10-game winning streak, giving them their first loss in Mountain West play. The Rams are now 3 points behind Boise State for the title with just 1 match left of the regular season. The first half was very competitive, as redshirt freshman Libby Brooker had 7 saves with a scoreless half. CSU didn't take as many offensive opportunities, getting outshot 15-4 in the first half, but then made adjustments in the second, outdoing the Aztecs 12-9. Despite the battle of the second half with multiple fouls, the Rams weren't able to come through. The Aztecs found a gap in the 87th minute to score and seal the deal. The Rams will have their last home game on Halloween against Wyoming for the annual Orange Out match before heading to the Mountain West tournament next week.
Men's golf took the trip down to sunny Carmel, California to take part in the Cal Poly Invitational. The tournament teed off just yesterday, and after 1 day of play, the Rams sat in 4th place. Looking at the numbers, the Rams had 2 golfers sitting comfortably in the top 10, as Jay Pavin is currently tied for first place at -6, while Jake Rogers is tied with a bunch of golfers for 6th place, sitting at -4 after the first day. These 2 Rams propelled the Rams to that 4th place spot, but after a full day of play today, the Rams finished in 3rd place, with Jay Pavin actually taking the first spot in the entire tournament, shooting a consistent 69 each 3 rounds for a total score of 207, which was better than anyone else in the entire tournament. Matthew Wilkinson was the next Ram up, way down the leaderboard at 19, shooting even. But this was the final outing for the men's golf team this fall. Their next match is not till February 14th, when they go back to California to compete in the Prestige tournament in La Quinta. But now let's switch it up to another team that is seeing some action today. Women's basketball has their very first showing of the season, as they are over in Moby Arena taking on Regis. The score currently sits at 28-28 with about 5 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter. And honestly, it's no one you've heard of for the leading scorers. It's Chloe Froby, the preseason freshman player of the year for the entire Mountain West Conference, who's got 6 points on 3 for 7 shooting, and Brooke Carlson, who's shooting 2 for 4 with 4 points. Just a vote right now with an exhibition match that the Rams should probably be winning. But while I can't give you the final score on this show, I will be back next week for a full score breakdown recap of what happened in this one. But golf finishing their season does not mean everyone else stops. Isn't that right, Leah?
Yeah, Mike, Halloween isn't the only thing happening this week,
Yep.
as Ram Athletics have a jam-packed schedule with events coming up.
Basketball hits the ground running as the men's team has their exhibition game tomorrow against Adams State.
And then on Thursday, Ram Volleyball hosts UNLV at Moby Arena. Soccer will also welcome the Pokes in this year's Orange Out Border War for the last test in the regular season before Mountain West Play Tournament next Sunday.
Speaking of tournaments, cross country starts the Mountain West Championships this Friday down in the Springs as they chase another title.
And it's all things Colorado for swim and dive as they head down to DU first on Friday and then host Mesa at Moby Pool on Saturday.
Volleyball gets to play at home again in hopes for redemption against San Diego State, while football travels to Coach Norvell's previous home at Nevada.
So yeah, a lot going on, but for now, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, it's even more top moments of the weekend.
It takes less than 1 minute to find out if you may have prediabetes. You can do it here. But you probably won't. You're busy. Kids, work. Show coming back in 48 seconds. So let's do this now. Hold up one finger if you're a man. Women, 0. 3 more fingers if you're over 60. 2 over 50. 1 over 40. If you're not sure, keep in mind you're sitting on a couch right now. So 1 more finger if you're not very active. 1 finger if yes, 0 if no. 1 yes, 0 no. Next, find the body type that looks most like you and hold up that many fingers while I look around awkwardly. And that's it. If you're holding up 5 fingers or more, you probably have prediabetes. Sorry to be so blunt, but hey, you're busy. Just go to the site.
Welcome back from the break, Ram fans. Now, CSU wasn't the only football team to have some success over the weekend. We're going to start off with the NFL moment of the week, probably the moment of the season with that Hail Mary in Washington. I think everyone knows about this play.
It's been on repeat,
Yeah.
All week long. I mean, looking at it, I can't, the defeat, the looks of defeat from the Bears. I mean, the Commanders, if we're looking at it right here.
I mean, this is the play.
It's it. Jaden Daniels, they don't have any time left.
The biggest thing for me here is why do teams not rush more players?
I don't know.
You're only rushing 4 against 6 offensive linemen. He throws it up.
Yeah.
It's a battle here, a bunch of guys, and this guy just waits in the back. Noah Brown waits in the back.
Right place at the right time. It couldn't be more
Just
perfect than
steals
that.
a win from the Bears, who scored with literally 20 seconds left. Every Bears fan was like, awesome, we're getting a great
Finally.
win over the Commanders, a good team. The number 1 pick beats the number 2 pick, and then you give them 20 seconds.
And, we saw some good sportsmanship here at the end. The Commanders were lifting up some Bears players who were just, sulking in the moment. That was what actually just happened,
You have to sit down and just take that in. No words for that as a Bears player. Right.
And honestly, it's pretty uncontrollable when you're not directly in that play. There's so much you
got to
do.
cover that guy. You can't just let one guy go off on the pile. Yeah.
So, crazy game.
Crazy game. I think moment of the year so far for the NFL.
And you know what? We have another one up next. Up next is the nail-biting outcome from top Mountain West teams Boise State and UNLV Rebels. We were just talking about the standings now. And this really shifted a lot of things. It kind of started off a little bit slow.
And this came down to the wire.
It did. It was kind of like a trade-off of field goals to start. UNLV took the lead.
It looked like UNLV was taking this one, but that last-second score from Boise was huge.
Unbelievable. And it just, to me, I kind of thought for a little bit. I mean, I had UNLV on this one.
At home, it makes sense. It makes sense. Boise's on the road. UNLV's a really good team.
And they have that great stadium, but I just thought, they would take this. And if we're looking at it here, they were able to come back again, take the lead.
Right.
And then just in that last couple seconds.
Again, even though Ashton Jeanty had that game-winning touchdown, the storyline of the day was they really held Ashton Jeanty to not a lot of yards. I think he only averaged 4 or 5 yards a carry. One of his lower yardage outcomes, and with 30-plus rushing attempts.
Right.
So you're not averaging a bunch of yards per rush. So they really did slow him down.
They did hold him. And as we've been talking earlier, especially as that Heisman, trophy kind of contender.
And this almost hurt him, but he still rushed for 136 and a touchdown. But just because of how good he's been, it was a little bit of a drop-off.
Yeah, exactly.
But we could talk about that one for a long time. Let's go to the Longhorn faithful, who had quite the scare.
Oh, my gosh.
After that upset loss to Georgia, they almost lost another one to Vanderbilt.
What's going on with Vanderbilt, though?
They have a team, apparently.
Apparently. I mean, at first the Alabama was like, all right, is this a fluke?
They put themselves on the map with this one.
They did, but then for Texas, I mean, Texas is number 6 now. They're not the number 1 team in the country.
As of last week, everyone thought they were consensus number 1.
Yeah.
Then they lose to Georgia, and they almost lose to Vanderbilt.
That's not a good look.
This is going to hurt them, especially when it comes to playoff seeding.
Especially when it's now is not the time to have games like this. Especially when you said coming into those playoff games. I was shocked watching this.
And this is, honestly, this is a scary thing for Texas if they cannot play on the road.
Yeah,
only beating a team like Vanderbilt by 3 points on the road is a very scary thing for Texas going into playoffs.
And I mean, any SEC school is going to have kind of that home field advantage. I mean, it's the SEC,
but Vanderbilt's been the joke of that.
Exactly.
They've been the joke of that.
That's what I was going to say. Of all schools, Vanderbilt is not the team that you should be afraid of.
Especially at home this year, they are showing up.
Yeah, I agreed. And the SEC is an absolute
it is.
dogfight right now, like we're talking about. As the team in first is actually Texas A&M Aggies.
Well, no one would have thought.
No one would have. You thought.
Yeah,
you did.
I picked them last week,
did.
but I still wouldn't have told you they were going to be the best SEC team after 8 weeks.
I thought LSU had this one.
Yeah. And they did. It was a really
for a
close,
very long time.
close
Look,
competitive
isn't this
game.
run right
Yep.
here? Like, I thought LSU was going to take it. And now that, like you said, A&M.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
It seemed like they had the firepower, but this
Yeah.
A&M team in the second half just goes off. It's the same thing they did against Mizzou. They keep it tight. They get to the end of the game, like,
then
all
they
right, we
just
have
take
to
it.
win. We're winning this game right now.
Second half team definition, I guess.
Right.
Yeah.
But while those were some of the top games of the weekend, everyone in the baseball world knows what happened this weekend. It's not great for Yankees fans, as you know, Leah knows.
Let's hear it, Ella.
Thanks, Mike. I'm Ella Fredrickson, and always stoked to be back. Now, not only is it the week of Halloween, but even scarier is a Dodgers and Yankees World Series. We are 3 games in, give or take, and it has been nothing short of a thriller, depending on who you ask, of course. The Los Angeles Dodgers were favored to take the title before the 2024 season even started. But going into the series, the New York Yankees were at least supposed to have the advantage in starting pitching. However, after 6 different arms led up 6 runs, even with Garrett Cole managing 6 pretty clean innings, the start to the series was less than encouraging for New York when 2 relievers and closer Nestor Cortez Jr. gave up 4 earned runs of their own. Flaherty didn't quite have the start Cole did, but the relieving performance from LA was practically lights out, allowing just 1 additional earned run on 5 hits. After Blake Trinan came in for the top of the 10th and led up the go-ahead run, the Dodgers had just 3 outs to work with before they lost Game 1 in extras. After an intentional walk for Mookie Betts to load the bases, Freddie Freeman made World Series history with the first ever walk-off grand slam, all with a hurt ankle. I could tell you all about it, but I think Freeman does a much better job of expressing how special this moment really was.
Grand slam, walk-off in a World Series game.
Yeah.
Where does that moment rank for you?
Oh, I don't know. That's stuff you are 5 years old in the backyard right there, and that's a dream come true. But that's only one. We got 3 more.
You ran over to your dad after hitting that home run.
Yeah.
What did you say to him?
I was just screaming in his face. I'm sorry, Dad. Yeah, he's been there since I was a little boy, throwing batting practice to me every day. So this isn't my moment. That's my dad's moment.
Game 2 on the West Coast told a similar story, and unfortunately for the Bronx Bombers, Juan Soto's bat was the only one making contact. To add defensive insult to injury, Rodon only made it through 3 before earning himself a double-digit ERA on the night. Following his mess of a start, innings 5 through 8 stayed quiet until a last-ditch effort for the Yankees in the 9th. Regardless, left him short. Although there was concern after Shohei left the game with a shoulder issue, by Sunday he was already feeling confident in his return. At this point, if you are hoping I saved the best game for last, of course you would be wrong, so I'll just keep this one simple. After finally getting an opportunity to play at home, the Yankees put up an astonishing 0 runs in 8 innings, and just 5 hits before Michael Kopech finally closed out Game 3. Going into Game 4, both teams were expected to turn to the bullpen early, with Hill and Casparius starting on the mound. Right now at Yankee Stadium, New York is down to their last life. Now, before the Yanks attempt the second best comeback of the century, second, of course, to the 2004 Red Sox, CTV's biggest Yankee fan, how are the Yanks holding up?
Well, Ella, I think that we're going to have some of that Red Sox, maybe juju tonight, because it has not been good. I'm honestly shocked.
Really?
With what's been happening in this series. To think that this has been such an anticipation World Series for such a long time. Yankees, Dodgers, it's classic. And to go down 3-0 like that is unbelievable. Tonight's game, it started off exactly how the last 3 have been. Freddie Freeman.
They're looking better, though.
First inning, 2-run bomb. Freddie Freeman.
He had to set the record.
Broke the record, right?
Yes.
And so Yankee, momentum killer.
Right.
Right? And they score back. They score finally. It was 2-1. Anthony Volpe, the New York Rays grown, the whole thing. Grand slam. Yankees up 5-3. The Dodgers did just score, though, so it is now 5-4.
5-4? Okay.
But again, they're in New York. It is one of the most ruthless places to play. They boo their own fans. They apparently try to grab.
What about last night, though?
No, last night, no, exactly. They were I think they were in such stunned shock based on how, coming from 2 games in LA, going back to New York. And then to not score till the 8th inning, unbelievable. So we're going to have to see how it plays out. Looking way more promising tonight, but maybe they'll be the first team to ever come back.
We'll talk more about it.
I can't wait for pick'ems. Yeah. So don't go anywhere yet. Don't go anywhere just yet, Ram fans. When we come back, Nick Ortiz and Neliah Rodriguez joins us for pick'ems. So we will be right back.
Living with someone you don't know on the other side of the wall is hard, especially if you don't know how to be a good roommate. The first thing that you'll want to do to be a good roommate is make sure that you always stay quiet. Be considerate of others when using common spaces and appliances.
Hey buddy, what you doing?
I'm just gonna need like 40 minutes. Be respectful of your roommate's privacy. Ugh, my bad. Finally, make sure that you clean up after yourself. Oh, fresh toothbrush.
Have you seen my toothbrush?
Follow these tips to get along with your roommates and your landlord.
Cute.
Welcome back from the break, Ram fans, and to a very special edition of Pick'ems. We've got two familiar faces joining us tonight and a very important live update to talk about further. Leah, we'll go to this first game. We know we just heard the score, but
All right.
I want to know how you feel.
Again, the New York Yankees are playing the Los Angeles Dodgers, one of the most anticipated World Series ever. And, it has been just it's like Yankees didn't even show up. It's like the team, it's not even the New York Yankees.
Yep.
It's honestly shocking. And tonight I'm actually wearing a CC Sabathia pitching jersey because you know what? Pitching is what the Yankees thought that they would have advantage of tonight and in the entire series, and their starting pitching has not been there. They have given up so many runs. They have made so many mistakes. Dodgers are taking advantage of it, hitting those spots. Freddie Freeman, like we've seen. I mean, he's unreal. He's unreal. The fact that he's able to homer every single game of the World Series to me.
It's a lot of the players.
It's unbelievable. And he broke a record, right? No team ever has been able to come back being down 3-0 in a World Series. Ella told us earlier that the Red Sox did come back actually against the Yankees in the ALCS in 2004.
So they deserve it is what you're saying?
So
they deserve it.
So this might be some karma, but also it could be kind of a cool thing. David Ortiz is one of the announcers. I don't know. I think it could be some kind of weird, I don't know, coincidence. But
the Yankees have the talent.
They do, and I mean, Aaron Judge, their captain, is barely hitting 100 in this series. It's not acceptable. It's just not.
It's not great for the Yankees.
It's not looking good.
That's why I'm going Dodgers. I mean,
I got Dodgers.
They have so many good players. I know they paid for all these players, and I don't like how they did it. But the fact of the matter is they have these really good players, and they're just dominating with them. So I can't really think of a reason to choose Yankees.
Well, the Yankees have also not been here in 15 years. The Dodgers did win in 2020. You have to remember that. They swept the Yankees back in the 50s or 60s. It was a long time ago. And a sweep hasn't happened in a really long time. And it's just, I don't think the Yankees are going to lay down in New York tonight. I think they're going to actually, it's going to be scrappy.
Yeah.
Neliah, I know you have my back tonight. Let's hear what you have to say.
No, I've agreed with everything you've said. And the Yankees play home tonight and tomorrow night.
Yes, if it's Game 5 tomorrow,
I don't know.
They're gonna.
I don't know.
I'm just trying to find the momentum.
I'm not seeing it. From what I'm seeing, it's not there.
I actually did. You got a guy like Volpe who was born and raised in New York. Nobody in the lineup has done anything except for Juan Soto and Giancarlo Stanton. And you have a younger guy on the biggest stage also having a grand slam. So I think tonight is
as a fan, I gotta respect it. You gotta cheer for your team.
I have to.
So I get it, but I think it's gonna go Dodgers.
It's a historic World Series. It's gonna be historic. The Yankees at least will win tonight and hopefully take it to Game 7. So it's my opinion.
We've talked more about it.
But I mean, I'm just happy to take it away from baseball. I'm not gonna lie.
Too much tonight. Too much of it.
Where's Madeline Davis? We need her.
I think we got a good one coming up. We got Broncos Ravens. I'll throw it to you, Mike. Start us off.
Look at coming off of a terrible loss for the Ravens.
That's embarrassing.
To the Browns, I don't know if that was just the Ravens are bad or the Browns are better than we think with Jameis Winston, which wouldn't make a lot of sense to me.
Complicated.
But I just think the Ravens had an off week. I think they do take this game against the Broncos, even though I do think the Broncos are a good team and probably are going to be in playoff contention. I think this game is a game that the Ravens, they're at home. They need this win. They have to keep winning. I really want the Broncos to win, but I'm going to go with the Ravens.
I was going to say, it's kind of weird to see you not picking the Broncos.
I agree.
Yeah.
But,
like, in my heart, I'm going Broncos, just stat-wise, and I just feel like it's got to be the Ravens.
I mean, I think we both got
Yeah.
Broncos.
Got Broncos,
You
okay.
go for it. Shoot.
I mean,
Why?
this is definitely my riskier pick.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I'm satisfied with the football the Broncos have been playing.
Agreed.
I'm
Agreed.
confident they just got a win against the Panthers, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, what about
I think
you?
that's.
I mean, it's just like I know the Panthers aren't saying a lot.
Right, and the
like,
Saints weren't that good either, so it's two like bad teams. They're kind of being.
And I know Lamar Jackson is having a year. to
Right,
say the least.
exactly.
I know
Yeah,
King
he
Henry
is,
is
he
just
is.
blowing everyone away.
Right.
But you got to believe, man.
Yeah.
You got to believe.
Believe.
We're gonna hit playoffs, and it starts Sunday.
And if any defense is matched up with the Browns defense, it's the Broncos defense.
Oh, yeah.
So I agree. These are two of the best defenses Lamar has to play, but they're at Baltimore.
Which is
That's where I
scary.
think the
That's a
energy
scary
comes from
thing.
for the Ravens.
That's why I'm taking the Ravens today because I
like
think
it.
that home field advantage in a matchup like this, you know, they
Right.
are both 5-3, right? It's
Right.
just kind of these teams have been a little bit more scrappy of what I've seen. I mean, Lamar Jackson, he's just he's going to go down as one of the greatest in my
for
opinion.
sure.
I love
Already
Lamar
two-time
Jackson.
MVP.
No,
I mean, yeah.
absolutely.
And so for me, just having the Broncos at home, I just think the Ravens are going to take it.
Yep.
But
All right.
regarding the defense, though, the Broncos have.
It's really good. It is. And
Yeah.
it's on par with the Browns. That's what I'm
That's
saying.
your
So I can
Yeah.
definitely see the Broncos winning. I think the Ravens take this.
Yeah.
No, fair enough. We got quite a few interesting matchups from the NCAA this week. First is OSU and Penn State. What are you thinking?
The 4 and the 3 seed. I mean, I think a lot of people wouldn't have thought that PSU would be above OSU right now. I'm going to go Ohio State. I think they have the more talented roster. They only lost that game to the #1 team in the country in Oregon because of mental mistakes.
Yeah.
All you had to do was slide down, kick a field goal, and you're the #1 team in the
still
country.
even then they look good.
So to me,
Oregon.
I think this Ohio State team is one of the top 3 teams. I don't think Penn State is, so I'm going Ohio State.
But Penn State is home. Their crowd is rowdy.
I
It's
get
going to
that,
get rowdy.
Which is a lot.
And I don't know, they have good confidence. They got a lot of veterans on the team.
I just think playmaker-wise, Ohio State has so many more than Penn State, and I think the defenses are pretty equal. So that's why I'm going Ohio State.
What do you think?
This game is really hard for me
Yeah, I agree. It's a hard
to
one.
talk about because, Mike, I honestly, I agree with
Yeah,
you. Like,
there you go.
Ohio State
Love it.
is legit. And I know you're a really big Ohio State fan, and I hate disagreeing with
Right.
you. But I think I just kind of had to because of the Dodgers today. And
Hey,
honestly,
I get it.
brother.
I'm just
It makes
kidding.
sense.
No, but honestly, though, like, when looking at it, I just think Penn State, I don't know. The quarterback matchup is a little bit even. I just think Penn State, I don't know. I know, probably not
It's
in your eyes.
tough because
It's tough.
Will Howard has not played at this level for
I
more than
know.
he only played at Kansas State, and then he played here at Ohio State versus
Yeah.
Drew Aller, who's had time to
Yes.
work in the Penn State system. Just watching the two, watching the Penn State games,
Absolutely.
watching the Ohio State games, Will Howard looks like a better pure passer, and the receivers are without a doubt better on Ohio State.
Yeah.
No, I think Ohio State's definitely the deeper team.
Exactly.
And I also think they've kind of, I mean, it's close, but I think they've had a slightly tougher schedule.
Yeah, for sure,
So they've
for
kind of
sure.
endured more. They're going into this kind of more resilient.
Right,
I
and
think while you
last
look at
week,
the whole team.
bad game against Nebraska.
Yeah,
It should
oh
not
my
have been
gosh.
that close.
It
Not
was
a good
really
game.
close.
Should not have been that close. I think Ohio State needs a revenge game. PSU needs this game. I think it'll be a super
looking
close
for it
game.
Close.
here.
I think it's going to be fun to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah,
To tune in.
I agree.
And you know, two more teams we don't talk about very
yeah.
often, SMU and Pittsburgh. Nick, start us off with this
Oh,
one.
boy.
What are we thinking?
Well, I had to go with SMU just because I think they're at home. You know, I like them at home. I like that a lot. I think they're a pretty solid team, and I think if you're looking at their offense to minimize turnovers, which I think they're going to be really tight on, I think they should be able to pull it off. But Mike just gave me a massive sigh,
Yeah.
which I didn't really appreciate. so I won't go
I'm
lie.
gonna give you that sigh because this Pitt team, in a game against Syracuse, just a few weeks ago, had 3 pick sixes, and you're watching them right here with this film on Kyle McCord. Kyle McCord is not a terrible quarterback. He's probably on the same level as the SMU quarterback. I don't think this SMU offense can keep up with this Pitt defense, and I think this Pitt defense goes in there and just mollywops SMU.
No, I agree. They're 7-0. It's going to be hard to pick out flaws with this team.
And I know it's at SMU, but this Pitt team is on fire. Their offense looks good. Their defense looks good.
Exactly.
The problem for me with SMU is their defense doesn't look good.
And their quarterback, he's kind of questionable.
Yeah, and Pitt's quarterback, 17 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. He's efficient with the ball. I got to go Pitt.
I'm going SMU. They're
I like
favored
it.
by a touchdown. They're at home. Again, I just usually tend to go more the home field advantage, but this week I really do think so. Because again, SMU is still 7-1. I
Right.
mean, they still have 7
They're
wins.
not a bad team
No.
by any
And
means.
This will be a close game.
It's going to
for
be
sure.
close, and again, you have the number 20 team, number 18
Right.
team. So again, it's a close matchup, like 3 and 4. So it's
Yep.
just, I'm going to go SMU on this one. That's me.
I get it.
All
But
right.
now we get to see another Nevada reunion
Let's
for
go.
Jay Norvell. As CSU travels to Nevada, 6 p.m. kickoff time on Saturday. What do you guys think?
Colorado State. I mean,
Yeah.
There's so many more factors into why this is such a big game. I mean, if they get this, they're bowl eligible.
Yep.
It's the first.
This
that is
means
not-
more.
This means more to Colorado State than it does Nevada. Nevada is not doing well.
No.
They are 0-3 in conference right now. I think CSU has the it factor against Nevada, especially just because of all the. I mean, we always say reunion, but it's true.
Yeah.
We've owned Nevada since Jay
We
Norvell's
have.
been
Even
here.
when we've gone there, when they've come here, CSU has beat Nevada with Norvell.
Yes, and so I just think, especially with this year and like how devastating that loss was to Hawaii last year to not get
Yeah.
a bowl game, and now there's more wiggle room this year.
Right.
I think they're gonna take it. I think
Nick,
they're gonna beat
you got
Nevada.
Nevada.
You know what,
I'm-
man? This was a tough pick for me because I like CSU in
Yeah,
this game
of course,
a lot.
of course.
But then I'm thinking about my pick'em record. You got to take a risk every now
You
and
do.
then.
You do, for
do.
sure.
So we're going with Nevada on this one, and probably not the best pick.
No,
but
I mean, it's a close one. The Rams are only favored by 1 right now. Nevada's
mean-
got home field.
yeah, you know, Nevada's favored in some ways.
Yeah.
So I think, we'll just go with them.
I just agree it's the energy thing. It's
Yeah.
1 win away from a bowl
It's
game.
too good
They
to be
haven't
true.
been there since 2017.
It's way
We,
too It's been so
we haven't won one since 2013. I mean, CSU needs this. The players need this. I think they'll do it.
And they're just a better team, better
Agreed,
program, I
yeah.
think.
Yep.
And then also, I don't think Nevada does well on either side.
No, not really. And the only game they performed well is Oregon State. So,
Yep,
yeah.
I agree. But you know what? That is unfortunately all the time that we have for you tonight, Ram fans. So enjoy the rest of your night and have a happy Halloween.